You don't owe a reaction to disrespect. You owe yourself peace. Let me ask you something real. How many times have you let someone's ignorance ruin your day? How many times have you rehearsed the perfect comeback after the damage was already done? But here's the truth, and it's going to sting. Every time you react, they win. Every time you clap back, yell, explain, or try to prove something, you give them the thing they wanted most, your power. And that's why you need to hear this entire message, because what I'm about to tell you will change how you handle every insult, every slight, and every attempt to break your spirit from this day forward. Silence is power, not weakness. In a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, reacting to every trigger, every insult, every disrespect, silence is a move that disrupts the pattern. Most people are conditioned to believe that if they don't respond, they've lost. That if they walk away without clapping back, they're letting someone win. But the truth is, silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. It's the difference between acting with emotion and responding with wisdom. When someone disrespects you, what they're really doing is inviting you to play their game. They want your energy. They want to knock you off balance. They want to see if they can reach into your peace and stir up chaos. And when you react, you give them exactly what they're looking for. You give them validation. You confirm that their actions had power over you. But when you choose to stay silent, that hits different. That makes them uncomfortable. That shows you're operating from a level they can't reach. Because silence doesn't mean you didn't notice. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're wise enough to understand that not every battle deserves your presence. It means you know that some things are better handled by time, karma, and elevation, not confrontation. You see, there is power in walking away with your head held high, not because you couldn't destroy someone with your words, but because you understood that doing so would drag you down to their level. And you don't belong there. You've got places to go that don't require defending your name to people who never knew your worth in the first place. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. True strength whispers. It doesn't need to announce itself. It just shows up calm, collected, and unshaken. It's the quiet confidence that says, I know who I am, and I won't lower my frequency just to prove it to you. That kind of silence commands respect far louder than any outburst ever could. People forget that silence is a form of communication. It's a message. It says, you don't affect me. It says, you're not worth the cost of a reaction. And the real ones, the ones who've grown, who've healed, who've matured, they understand this. They've learned that peace is far more expensive than pride, and they guard it like treasure. So the next time someone tries to get under your skin, remember this: you don't have to swing every time someone throws a jab. You don't have to explain, argue, or prove anything. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them wonder. Because your silence, that's the loudest thing they'll hear. Reacting gives control to the offender. The second you let someone else dictate your emotional response, you've handed them the keys to your inner world. It might feel satisfying in the moment to snap back, to hit them with a sharp word or a clever insult. But what you're really doing is confirming that they had the power to shake you. That you, for even a second, stepped out of your own peace to enter the chaos they created. And here's the harsh truth: when you react to disrespect, you're not responding with strength. You're responding with vulnerability exposed. You're giving them exactly what they came for, a piece of your power. There's something about emotional discipline that very few people talk about. It's not just about staying calm or being mature. It's about being so rooted in who you are that nothing external can hijack your state. Because disrespect isn't about you. It's about them. It's a projection of their own insecurity, fear, ego, or pain. And when you react, you accept the role they've written for you. You join their drama. You validate their attempt to provoke you. But when you hold your ground, when you respond with composure or don't respond at all, you keep that power in your hands. You maintain your own emotional authority. Think of it like this: your peace is your home. Reacting to disrespect is like leaving that home unlocked for anyone to walk into and rearrange your furniture. You wouldn't let just anyone come in and mess with your environment. So why would you let someone rearrange your emotional state so easily? Your energy is sacred. It's not for sale. And it sure as hell isn't free for the people who come with disrespect in their tone and chaos in their hands. There's a quote that says, "He who angers you conquers you." And it's true. Every time you let someone's behavior provoke you into losing your center, you're giving away pieces of yourself for nothing. Silence, on the other hand, is presence. It's power. It's saying, I see what you're trying to do and it's not going to work. That calm, collected silence is far more intimidating than a storm of words. It shows restraint. It shows maturity. It shows dominance, not through control of others, but through control of self. So the next time disrespect comes knocking, pause. Breathe. Remember who you are. Ask yourself, do I really want to give this person access to my peace? Do they deserve that kind of power? And most of the time, the answer will be no. Let them stew in the silence. Let them hear the echo of their own immaturity. Because when you refuse to react, you don't just hold the high ground, you become untouchable. Your energy is currency. Don't spend it on cheap people. Every day, you wake up with a limited supply of energy, mental, emotional, spiritual fuel. And how you spend that energy determines not only how you feel, but how you grow, how you move forward, how you shape your future. The problem is too many people are out here making emotional investments in people who aren't even worth minimum wage, arguing with fools, explaining themselves to the willfully ignorant, trying to get respect from people who wouldn't recognize value if it hit them in the face. That's a terrible investment strategy. It leaves you drained, empty, bitter, and for what? To prove a point to someone who never deserved a response in the first place? Every time you pour energy into reacting to disrespect, you're making a payment. But what are you getting in return? You lose time. You lose peace. You lose momentum. You walk away from that interaction feeling off, frustrated, maybe even ashamed because you know deep down you gave something away that should have been protected. That's your energy. That's your power. You don't hand that out to people like candy on Halloween. You guard it like it's gold because it is. People who operate from insecurity and ego are constantly fishing for reactions. That's their fuel. They throw out disrespect like bait just to see who they can hook. And if you bite, if you jump in and engage, you've just given them exactly what they wanted: your attention, your emotion, your time. They don't have to lift themselves up if they can just drag you down. That's the game. And if you don't learn to value your energy, you'll keep playing it on repeat. The most powerful people in the world are not the loudest. They are not the most reactive. They're the ones who know when to engage and when to walk away. They understand the value of silence. They know that attention is a form of currency and not everyone deserves a transaction. They treat their energy like an elite level asset, only invested in people and situations that bring returns in peace, growth, and elevation. So the next time someone tries to get a rise out of you, ask yourself, is this person a premium connection in my life or a drain on my account? If they don't add value, don't spend a dime of your energy on them. Let them talk. Let them provoke. Let them throw shade from the cheap seats. You keep moving, keep building, keep rising, because your energy is not for entertainment. It's for elevation. And people who truly know their worth never waste what's priceless on those who are bankrupt in character. The realest revenge is growth in silence. You don't need to announce every move. You don't need to prove anything to the people who doubted you, disrespected you, or tried to break you. The most powerful comeback you can ever make is to keep moving forward without ever looking back. Not because you forgot what they did, but because you refused to let their actions define your direction. Growth is loud without saying a word. It speaks in results. It echoes in success. It humbles the ones who thought you'd never rise. Disrespect isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle. It's someone dismissing you, underestimating you, laughing at your dreams, walking away when they thought you had nothing to offer. And sure, in those moments, it's tempting to lash out, to throw it back in their face, to make a scene. But that's temporary satisfaction. That's ego. The long game is different. The long game says, keep quiet and build. Keep quiet and evolve. Let them believe what they want while you become what they never saw coming. When you choose to grow in silence, you step out of the noise and into your purpose. You no longer waste time explaining yourself. You stop performing for the crowd. You stop trying to convince people of your worth. You start investing that energy inward into your goals, your healing, your next level. And what's wild is that the very people who once disrespected you, they start watching silently, uncomfortably. They see the changes. They see the glow. They see you thriving and they feel it. And the best part, you never had to say a word. They disrespected you thinking you'd stay small. But your silence let them underestimate you while you outgrew every version of yourself they ever thought they knew. Growth in silence is sacred. It's focused. It's mature. It's the decision to build a life so powerful, so undeniable that you don't have to address the past anymore because your present speaks loud enough. You want revenge? Let them see you heal from what they tried to break. Let them see you rise without them. Let them see you do everything they said you couldn't. And when they try to come back around, confused, curious, maybe even regretful, let your silence remind them that access to your energy is a privilege they no longer hold. So don't waste your breath trying to prove anything to people who can't see past their own limited vision. Let your wins talk. Let your work echo. Let your peace be louder than their noise. Because the realest revenge isn't served cold. It's lived beautifully, silently, and successfully. Your response teaches people how to treat you. Every time you react to someone's disrespect, you're setting a precedent. You're telling them what they can get away with. You're teaching them what buttons to push. People don't just observe your words, they study your reactions. They're constantly watching how far they can go, how much space you give, how much of yourself you're willing to offer, even when it's not deserved. And when you meet disrespect with anger, begging, over-explaining, or chasing clarity from someone committed to misunderstanding you, you're sending a message loud and clear. You can disrupt my peace, and I'll still engage with you. But the opposite is also true. When you stay composed, when you set boundaries without shouting, when you walk away instead of clapping back, you're making a different kind of statement. You're saying, I value myself too much to entertain anything beneath that standard. You're showing that access to your time, your thoughts, your energy is not a free-for-all it's earned. That silence, that pause, that refusal to give in, that's not passive. That's discipline. That's teaching. The way you carry yourself, especially under pressure, is what people remember. They remember how you responded when they tried to provoke you. They remember if you stayed calm when others would exploded. And most importantly, they remember the feeling they got when they couldn't pull you out of character. That discomfort they felt, that's the consequence of you choosing dignity over reaction. And trust this, people respect boundaries. They can't manipulate. They may not like it, but they'll learn from it. You don't have to tell people how to treat you. Show them through your silence, through your distance, through your unwillingness to entertain disrespect just to keep the peace. Because real peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from upholding standards. When someone sees that they can't shake you, that they can't guilt trip or bait you into chaos, they either level up or back off. Either way, you win. Either way, you've taught them something without saying a word. And the truth is, some people won't like your silence. They'll call it cold. They'll say you're being dramatic. But that's only because they've gotten comfortable with versions of you that were too available, too forgiving, too quick to explain. Growth will always feel like rejection to people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. So let them think what they want. Let them assume. Let your non-response be the lesson. Because every moment you choose not to react, you're reinforcing a message. I'm not here to be disrespected. I'm here to be honored. And if you can't rise to that, you don't get access to me. That's the standard. That's the teaching. That's the power of your response. So here's the truth the world will test you. People will push your buttons. They'll challenge your peace, question your worth, and try to pull you into their chaos. But your power lies not in how loud you respond, but in how deeply you choose not to. Every moment you stay silent in the face of disrespect, you reclaim your power. Every time you choose growth over reaction, you separate yourself from the noise. You don't rise by fighting every battle. You rise by learning which ones are beneath you, because the person who stays quiet after disrespect isn't weak, they're wise. They're in control. They've graduated from needing to prove anything to anyone. And that kind of energy, it's untouchable. So stand tall in your silence. Let it speak for you. Let it protect your peace. Let it remind the world that your worth is not up for debate and that access to you is earned, not assumed. You don't have to yell. You don't have to fight. You just have to rise. And when they realize they couldn't shake you, couldn't break you, couldn't even get a piece of your reaction, that's when they'll know you already won.